two are as close as can be. Whether I'm trying to climb up a tree or sitting down with you for tea, we're dancing, we're dancing. Sometimes we go for a long stroll ride, or in the playground I can go down the slide. It doesn't really matter the things that we do, all that matters is just me and you. We're dancing, we're dancing. My ballerina and me, we two are as close as can be. So thanks for stopping over to come and see my ballerina, my ballerina, my ballerina and me.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Flores. I'm the artistic director of the New American Youth Ballet in New York City. New American Youth Ballet is an award-winning program. We were rated #1 dance conservatory in the USA by Dance Teacher magazine. My training and background includes studying on full scholarship with the Bolshoi Ballet Academy, as well as studying opera and musical theater at the Juilliard School of Music. As a teacher, I was the artistic director of the Harkness Youth Ballet at the 92nd Street Y, the head of summer dance at Ballet Academy East, as well as conducting a program for the Dalton School of Ballet and Ballet History. The New American Youth Ballet School has had many performances with a live symphony orchestra. This sets us apart from all the rest, where we instill the joy and the love of the traditions of ballet at a young age and full symphony orchestra. So what is the My Ballerina and Me curriculum? Our program is special because in addition to teaching caring and correct classical ballet technique, the parents are not left to the side. They too learn correct form and what to look for in their young dancers, so when they go home and practice together, the dancers can make the most progress and utilize the time to the fullest. And let me tell you, the music that we use for our classrooms will stay with you, teach you ballet vocabulary alongside with your child, and simply entertain you. This music was developed together with myself and Dr. Alan Turry of NYU, amazing musical therapist who understands how to write, compose music that will engage emotionally and from the inside really bring out the joy in dancing and learning with your child. So with this, we invite you to sample our program, and we can't wait to get started. I hope you've enjoyed learning about our program and all the possibilities it has. Hi, welcome back to the Adventures of My Ballerina and Me. It's your host, Elizabeth Flores. For today's Blast from the Past, we're going to take a look at some excerpts from Giselle with the world-famous ballerina Alicia Alonso. Alicia Alonso is a Cuban prima ballerina absoluta and choreographer. Her company became the National Ballet de Cuba in 1955. She is the most famous for her portrayals of Giselle and ballet version of Carmen. From the age of 19, Alonzo was afflicted with an eye condition and became partially blind. Her partners always had to be in the exact place she expected them to be, and she used lights in different parts of the stage to guide herself. The two-act ballet Giselle is about a peasant girl with a weak heart, Giselle, and she dies of a broken heart after discovering her lover Albert is actually engaged to someone else. One of the famous scenes is the mad scene when she discovers this, and you'll see in a bit Alonzo's portrayal of the mad scene. In Act 2, the Willies, a group of supernatural women who dance men to death, summon Giselle from her grave. They target her lover for death, but Giselle's great love frees him. This here is when she finds out he's betrayed her. Hi, I'm Elizabeth Flores, director of the New American Youth Ballet, and we're here with Eliza Minden, and she's going to speak to us about this beautiful brand of pointe shoes and dancewear, and please share with us about your story.
I was an ardent amateur dancer, and when the great day came that I was finally allowed to go on pointe, I was really disappointed because it hurt so much. And although I persevered, I've never forgotten how much it hurt to jump in pointe shoes, and it really changed for a while the joy of ballet class into being something that was not so joyful anymore. I was also a little outraged by the fact that pointe shoes wear out so quickly. Dancers are their artists, of course, but they're also elite athletes. And to have the most important piece of equipment, if you will, wear out after as little as one performance,
Yes.
and not really do much to help prevent injury, and to be more painful and uncomfortable than they need to be, that just struck me as unnecessary and a little bit outrageous, especially because aware of how improvements in materials and technology had made things so much better for other athletes.
I'm sorry in the beginning it was so uncomfortable, but for the rest of it, we're so grateful it was, because when this brand came out, just for many reasons, it was a real gift to find it.
When we first started, we had what we call our classic shape.
Yeah.
And it worked on many people, it was perfectly fine, but a lot of dancers have a foot that's very wide at the metatarsal and very narrow at the heel. That's a typical dancer foot, and it's very
Right.
well suited for dance, no
Right.
surprise. But that means that the shoes have to be made a little bit differently to accommodate that. They have to be tapered, otherwise you have a baggy heel, and especially when you go on pointe, you don't want a lot of extra material.
Yes.
So we developed something called the sleek fit for those kinds of dancers.
Yes.
And now we have a third shape, which is what we call the sculpted fit, and that fits the midfoot very, very snugly. It really hugs the underneath the arch.
Yeah.
And it's also narrow at the heel, not quite as narrow. And this has allowed us to fit many more people. And the shoe itself, the satin itself, is providing some support along with the shank, which allows dancers to take a more supple shank than they might have otherwise.
Yes.
So we're now in, I think, 85 countries all over the world.
Wow.
And almost every major dance company has quite a few dancers in Gaynor Minden, usually principal dancers. And I think at the Bolshoi and the Mariinsky, it's 75%.
Wow.
And that's been very
Congratulations.
exciting. Thank you.
That's a major achievement. And I mean, for those of us that really like to turn and balance and hop, it's once you've worn this brand, I never wanted to go back. So you were mentioning how the makings of the shoe, and I see you have one cut open that we can see
So
what's inside.
I think this will show clearly what makes them different.
Okay.
A traditional pointe shoe, and the traditional pointe shoes are pretty much all made this way, have the leather sole, that's familiar.
Yes.
But for support in the midfoot, there is a shank which is made out of cardboard or leather board or fiberboard. It's some kind of paper product. And then there's a little liner here. And the toe box, which also provides support, is traditionally made out of burlap or cardboard or paper or canvas. The problem with these materials is that they're not very durable. They're 19th century shoemaking materials.
Yeah.
The pointe shoe sort of stopped evolving in about 1905. You know, it never
Wow.
really
The dancing
went into
didn't.
the modern. Exactly.
It's gotten a lot harder.
Right? The technique has evolved, dancers have
Yes.
evolved, but their shoes were stuck in the 19th century until Gaynor Minden. Really excited about this. We call these our core colors. In addition to the traditional peach color that we've always made, we are now making cappuccino and espresso.
Oh, that's perfect.
And to just put on pointe shoes and not have to pancake them or
Yes.
put makeup on them.
Yes. The question I just want to ask is, if somebody, the way you took something that was a negative and you turned it around into this amazing brand that has solved so many issues for dancers, what would your advice be? If there's a young dancer, maybe they see something in our profession that's not working well and that they could maybe do something better with it. What is your advice going into something on your own with an idea?
Well, believe in your idea and believe in yourself. When I was starting out, a lot of people, a lot of experts in the dance world told me, couldn't be done, you're crazy, forget about it. And so I sought out the few dancers who were supportive. And I asked them to help me try my prototypes. And their support and encouragement really gave me the courage to continue, because there was a lot of negativity in the beginning.
And what's the percentage at the Bolshoi wearing your shoes now?
75.
That will show you.
This is the reference book I wrote for ballet students, which again came out of my experience. When I was a student, I was confused by the fact that my regular teacher called the arms overhead position one thing,
Yes.
and the Russian teachers called it
Yes.
something else.
Yes.
And the arabesques all had different
And
names.
everyone is completely right.
Absolutely.
You know, if you question, you get in trouble. You never question.
So that was one of the things that I thought it would be a service to explain, and we have a lot of, I don't know if I can find it right away, but we have graphs and illustrations showing the different positions as the different schools identify them.
That's so smart.
There's also a lot of ballet history in here, but it's presented in what I call bite-sized nuggets. So it's just a little bit of history. So here's, for example, the orientations of the body, which can be confusing to students.
Absolutely.
And here's Bournonville's choreographic creed, which is something that I've always loved. It's old from the 19th century, but they're lovely things like dance as an art because it presupposes calling, knowledge, and skill. Mannerism is not character, and affectation is the decided enemy of grace. You know, some fun things
About
like
that.
Here's a sidebar on tutus and how tutus evolved,
It's beautiful.
which is a funny story because the first tutu caused such a scandal.
It was just too
It was
short.
too short. But Virginia Zucchi knew she had gorgeous legs, and she was not.
She knew some people would appreciate it.
She said it in her own words. She says, "I am not going to wear a skirt that's fit for my grandmother," and so she caused a scandal. But the crowd loved
People
it.
came around.
Here's something on the famous partnership of
Of course.
Fontaine and Nureyev.
Oh, how
So there's
beautiful.
along with all the technique stuff, there's a lot of background, and then
Healthy
there's a
dancer.
whole section on health and nutrition.
And who is on the cover?
That is Gillian Murphy.
And why is she such an important part of your story?
Gillian was one of the first professional dancers to wear Gaynor Minden pointe shoes. And her example at American Ballet Theater, where she's now a principal and has been for a long time, made it okay for other dancers to dare to wear Gaynor Minden.
She's an amazing technician. She can turn like no one. And she spent many hours in the studio just working on her technique alone.
She's
It's
such a hard
self-starter.
worker. Oh yeah. Oh, she's tremendously talented and tremendously hardworking and a really lovely person. My husband, who is my partner in the business, John Minden, back in the early 90s, had an idea that maybe the internet would catch on. And so he secured the name dancer.com
Oh, how
for
smart.
our website.
How
So
smart.
that's where you can find us.
Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
your time.
Elizabeth. This has been such a pleasure.
Do so.
Hi! Welcome back to Camillas Corner.
Today, Camilla is working on port-de-bras. Port-de-bras means carriage of the arms in ballet. Won't you practice along with us?
It's time for some music.
So this excerpt from Swan Lake is the Tarantella, or the Neapolitan dance as it's known. And these two dancers, this is my student Philip Hamsick and his partner Chelsea. It was with a live orchestra in the pit conducted by David Agard. Enjoy! So you must be wondering, what's on our next episode? And what's all that talking about? Well, sitting next to me is my first ballet teacher, Karen Harriel, her daughter, Angie Harriel, and of course, next to me is my daughter, Camila Flores. And we had a great interview section that we'll be featuring. And we also have a fashion show coming up October 13th. And we can't wait to show you all the beautiful styles lined up and ready to go, provided by Sancha. We'll see you next time on the adventures of my ballerina and me. Bye.
Oh, is that the conductor? Yes, that is the conductor. He's Maestro Alan Aurelia. You might see this interview on one of our next shows. Sounds great to me.
Are you wishing to get in the studio, on the stage, or behind the camera with us? Well, you can. Just email newamerican.youth@yahoo.com to join the fun.
Can't wait for you to dance with us.
Tune in every other Sunday for more of the adventures of my ballerina and me. See you next time.